Have you ever watched other people play and they just seem to run all over their opponent and you ask yourself, why can't I do this? Why can't I break big runs like they do? Well, running is actually pretty dang good in Madden this year, but there are some very important tips you can use to take your running game from middle of the road to beast mode. Now, this video isn't going to talk about running schemes, formations, specific plays, or anything like that. We're not even really going to talk about having the best stick work in the world because let's be honest, the quote-unquote sticky thing, it's just overrated, especially in Madden over the past few years. Today we're going to focus on what's really important, how to improve your running game, whatever formation you come out in or in whatever scheme you're running. And by the way, if you're interested in a really good running scheme breakdown, check out my I-form close and I-form slot video. Some really good tips in that video. Also, keep in mind that almost every highlight or example I give is on all Madden and with a pretty stacked MUT squad or franchise squad. So anyway, let's talk about the 6 tips that are going to take your running game to the next level. First off, we're going to talk about how to beat adaptive AI, and to do this we need to talk about personnel. Adaptive AI is a thing this year, and what that means is that if you keep spamming a play over and over again, the computer is going to start recognizing this and it's going to start shutting your play down pretty hardcore. One of the easiest ways to fix this is to win at the numbers game. So let's say you come out in an under center formation with a fullback. If you substitute a tight end at your fullback position, now you have 5 linemen and 2 tight ends totaling 7 box players. The defense has to match that with their down linemen and linebackers, and if they don't, adaptive AI is turned off. You can even help with this, especially against 3-4 or 4-3 users, by subbing in another tight end at wide receiver. This gives you 8 box players, and almost nobody is going to run 8 down linemen and linebackers on defense. So if you create an advantage with this numbers game, you simply don't have to worry about adaptive AI any longer. And as a bonus, tight ends just block better than receivers and even most fullbacks. So you'll not only not have to worry about adaptive AI, you're going to have much better blocking. Tip number 2 is to read the box pre-play. First, you need to see what Madden is telling you. If you have a green box to one side, Madden is reading that you have a numbers advantage. If the box is red, then you're likely at a disadvantage. Madden actually does a pretty good job of this year, but it's important to note that this isn't always a tried and true read. So take a look at the number of defenders on the side of the field in which you intend to run, and just make sure that the numbers are to your liking. And if you intend to run to the right, but you see that they're stacking that area, you should always have a run to the opposite side, in this case left, in your audibles that you can immediately switch to, or at least be able to flip your run to that less clogged side. And this is very important. If you have a gaping hole, and yeah, that's what she said, make sure to take advantage of that. When you intend to run, always try to have 2 run plays, an inside and outside run, that you can easily flip and or quick snap. And when you add in the next tip, which is using RPOs, you're going to see that this really helps your running game and takes it to the next level. And so tip number 3 is to use RPOs. RPOs are just super overpowered this year. In fact, they're almost a must. First off, RPOs have just amazing blocking and they really tend to just dumb out the computer. So even against a stacked area, a lot of times the computer players are just going to run themselves out of the play at the snap and you'll have a huge area to run to. But RPOs also can really screw your opponent up. Even pros will sometimes rage at RPO geeks. They're just so hard to stop this year. And when you use an RPO and it's tearing someone up, trust me, they're going to try to compensate pretty drastically most of the time. And when they do, you can easily just audible to a running play on the opposite side and get huge gains. That threat of the RPO, this tip alone, will take your running game to a higher level and it'll take your offense in general to a higher level. Tip number 4 is to utilize your line adjustments. Inside stuff is just a really awesome ability, whether it's in MUT, regs, or franchise. The only real way to negate this, other than having abilities on your linemen, is to double team the inside stuff. You do this simply by hitting the L1 button down on the right stick and then scrolling to the defender that you want to double team. You can see in these highlights when I don't double team the stuff, I literally end up stuffed. When I do double team, I'm getting much more space and certainly far better gains. Do not sleep on this tip, you guys. It really can help you out. Tip number 5 is don't turbo until. And what I mean by this is that we all love to turbo, let's admit it. For those of us who have played Madden for years, we used to be able to turbo and get sometimes even better jukes. Not so much in the past several years. When you hit the R2 or the turbo button, you're going to see that the linemen and even linebackers immediately start to disengage from their blocks. We've all done it. We feel the pressure when our running back takes the ball and we're getting heat, and instead of being patient, we hit that dang R2 button and we just get mauled. Also, if you're holding the turbo button, you don't have nearly the agility and you won't be able to juke nearly as well. So just don't do it until. If you have to, go into practice mode and run 50 or 100 running plays and literally refuse to hit the turbo button. The only time you need to hit the turbo button is when you've crossed the line and have open space. Now you can turbo. I promise you, pay attention to this tip. And to round out this video, tip number 6 is to use the juke move. While the spin move is basically just not very good in Madden 24 this year, the juke move is super overpowered. You can sometimes juke out 3, 4, even 5 guys with one simple juke. And when you do, try to do it at almost a 45-degree angle so that you not only don't lose as much momentum, but you really dumb out the defenders when you take this kind of angle with your juke. Also, if you're holding turbo, make sure to take your finger off of the R2 button before you juke, or your juke is simply just not going to be very good at all. Oh, and to really add to it, the double juke is also super OP. If you juke one way and then immediately juke the other, you'll get an almost speed boost and can keep going in stride or even hit them with another juke move right after that. This is one of the coolest moves too. That double juke, especially with a player who has an exceptionally great juke like say Kyle Pitts this year in MUT, you're just going to fry your opponents. So go into practice mode if you're not good at juking and just practice it over and over until you start seeing results. Don't forget to try to make that angle about 45 degrees. Not left or right, but forward and to the right, or forward and to the left. You'll see. Again, I promise. So to recap, number 1 is to beat the adaptive AI. Number 2 is to read the box. Number 3 is to use RPOs to your advantage. Number 4 is to utilize line adjustments. Number 5 is don't turbo until. And number 6 is to use the juke move the right way. If you follow these tips, I can guarantee you that your running game will get better. Just try these tips out and you're going to see for yourself. I really want to thank you guys for all of the recent support. My channel's really starting to take off and I have you guys to thank for that. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be really appreciated if you hit that like and subscribe button. Be on the lookout for more videos here in the next week, and as always, have a great day.